Hey everyone, before we get into today's episode of Prime News, I want to remind you we are giving away a Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Bundle. This is our 50,000 subscriber giveaway, so when we hit 50,000 subscribers, we will be giving it away for free. All you have to do is go to the gleam.io link down in the description in order to enter. The only requirement is that you are subscribed to the channel. There are additional entries, and every week I'm trying to add in new ways to enter, so if you've already entered, be sure to check back. There might be new ways to enter now. And I wish all of you luck. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Prime News. In our first story today, the lead story is actually about a poll being conducted by Ubisoft in France. Now, normally these polls are not something that we pay much attention to, but this one's interesting because it's asking for people's thoughts and voting on how they feel about different characters from the Super Mario Bros. Series. This is important because Ubisoft, if you don't remember, last year did a crossover with Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and it was highly successful and got some amazing Donkey Kong DLC this past summer. So the question is, what's next for crossovers between Ubisoft and Nintendo? Well, while we know Starlink Battle for Atlas will have Fox McCloud and some exclusive missions and story elements and stuff like that on Switch in comparison to the version on other platforms, that's something we know about now. What we don't know is what's next. Is there going to be a Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2? And is this feedback going to be used to help determine what characters will be in there, what characters will be playable, maybe how they want to frame the story, or maybe there's an entirely different game in the works here. All I know is anything where Ubisoft is working with Nintendo, using Nintendo characters, so far anyways, it appears to have worked out excellent. And in comparison to like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which appears to be a really, really good game and is actually the fastest selling Assassin's Creed of this current generation, beating out last year's version. It's interesting to see that while they microtransaction the heck out of that game and make it almost less enjoyable unless you buy a particular XP boost, that with these crossovers with Nintendo, they don't seem to be doing the same thing. Now, I know Toys to Life has kind of led to a microtransaction economy for things like Starlink Battle for Atlas. However, they do offer all of it. It's like $80. You can get literally everything on the digital version anyways. I don't know, the Toys to Life stuff's always going to cost more because you're getting physical items. But anyways, at least like that's Toys to Life. That's a totally separate thing and almost a bit understandable. Like buying individual amiibo, we know it's going to cost more than just your standard cost of a game. That being said, I am very curious to see if we ever see anything published from this poll, what people's thoughts are. I mean, Waluigi's on this thing, the Koopalings are on this thing, Birdo's on it, Rosalina. I mean, these are characters that I wouldn't even dream of seeing in a Mario plus Rabbids 2, but now, who really knows? I definitely think that Ubisoft's going to continue this working relationship with Nintendo because it's been highly profitable for everyone. The fans are enjoying the games. The products are high quality. So heck, I can't wait to see what comes of this poll and what it might lead to down the line. Maybe we'll see something in 2019. Today is the day that Nintendo added 3 new games to the Nintendo Switch Online service, the NES games, and obviously the most notable one for me is Super Dodgeball. But I'm not here to really talk about that because a surprise update came out today for the Legend of Zelda NES. It's called the Living the Life of Luxury update. It's a specific mode you can now play in the Legend of Zelda NES through the Nintendo Switch Online service that gives you all of the in-game items, literally all of them. So you could just OP the game from the word go. And it also gives you oodles and oodles of rupees, so you could buy, potions and all that stuff that you might need if you're just starting out. Now, this is basically like a cheat code, essentially, for the game. Probably intended for people who have never played the game to have an easier time. And it is just an optional mode. And Nintendo did announce they're going to be doing stuff like this for other NES games in the future. I don't know if we're just going to see one updated per month like we got in October, or if they're just going to do a bunch at once and they just started with Zelda. Either way, I think it's an interesting way. I'm not entirely opposed to them adding these new ways to play these games. Obviously, it doesn't affect my original experience with Zelda. Yeah, my kids might end up using this, but you know what? I don't know how far they would get in Zelda today without that stuff. I don't think this is a negative. I think it lets more people enjoy the game, so sure, why not? Now I want to see Zelda 2 get added and see them max out our level to start Zelda 2. That would be crazy. So sales data is in for the launch week of Super Mario Party, and it turns out in Japan, well, it debuted at number 1, moving around 143,000 40,000 units. And that is almost like 100,000 units ahead of second place, which was Assassin's Creed Odyssey on PlayStation 4. However, that wasn't the only new game launched on Switch last week. Mega Man 11 made its debut in Japan, and, well, it sold about 14,650 units on Switch. And that came in at the number 4 overall selling spot, actually a few spots ahead of the PlayStation 4 version of the game, which sold around 12,000 units. This is very interesting to me because, one, there's obviously more PlayStation 4s than there are Switches currently in Japan, and two, obviously Mega Man's just more popular with people who own a Switch. I think this is really, really good news overall when it comes to the potential of games on Switch in comparison to competing platforms. In Japan, at least, it is notable that these are just physical sales. They do not count digital sales at all. Maybe PlayStation 4 comes ahead on Mega Man 11 in that regard. We don't really know. But obviously, Super Mario Party is the big showing this week. And we'll have to see if those sales maintain. I haven't heard anything about stock shortages. Like we saw last time, a big Switch game did really well. Obviously, with Octopath Traveler, that just dropped off a cliff because they couldn't keep it in stock. Super Mario Party, meanwhile, is not having any stock issues. So we'll have to see how well this performs next week. I'm very curious to see if there's a big drop-off like there was with Octopath, or if it's one of those slow trickle-down effects, or heck, maybe it just maintains. And on the back of Mega Man 11 and more than likely Super Mario Party, the Nintendo Switch saw a 3,000 unit increase week over week, moving from 42,000 unit sales to 45,000 for last week. Very impressive numbers indeed, right in line with what Switch has been essentially doing all year, teetering between that 40,000 and that 50,000 unit mark. I think Pokemon, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate are probably the ones that are going to push it well past that 50,000 barrier. It seems to have a hard time breaking this year. Again, there hasn't been like that big system-selling game this year, but you know what? I mean, the Super Mario Party numbers are apparently really, really good in comparison to prior Super Mario Party games. So, I mean, hey, I don't own the game yet, but I watched Easy Allies stream it last night, and I gotta say, they were having a good time. I was having a good time watching it, and as disappointed as I might be that you can't play the full boards online, at least local multiplayer-wise, it might be like the best party game when it comes to playing with friends in the same room. I mean, I'm not even kidding. They might have actually recaptured my childhood memories of Super Mario Party, or of Mario Party in general, and put it in the Super Mario Party. It's not perfect. Probably could use some improvements and things, but you know what? I'm going to be going hands-on and playing later this month with Eric and my fiance. Should be crazy, and I hope you guys tune in for that live stream. So according to developers at Square Enix, Dragon Quest X or X will be coming to the West, or might be coming to the West, I guess is the better way to put it, as an offline game. Now, it's important to remember that Dragon Quest X was actually an MMORPG, and it didn't ever release in the West in any form, and apparently it didn't perform that well in its home country either. Now, Dragon Quest XI is obviously coming out, and it was already out on other platforms, coming to Switch, etc. All that great stuff, and people are really excited about that. The 3DS versions of Dragon Quest games ended up not performing well in the West, according to these same developers at Square Enix. So their thought process is there's going to be a lot of people going from the last good selling Dragon Quest game in the West to 11 with a huge, multi-game gap. And they're like, maybe we can close that gap and get more people to enjoy some of the unique stories we told in 10 by making a single player only version of it. Again, this is not like confirmed as in, oh my gosh, it's coming, get ready for it. But they are contemplating it, and if they are going to do it, I would expect to see something in 2019, and this would probably not just only come to Switch. Obviously, if we're getting Dragon Quest XI, we'll get Dragon Quest X, but it'll probably come to other competing platforms, PlayStation 4, Xbox, and all of that. According to Koei Tecmo, Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition on Nintendo Switch sold way more copies in the West than they had anticipated. This is one of the large reasons they have increased their forecast for Q2 sales and net profits. They're not telling us what those forecasts are at this point. I guess we'll see when the Q2 results come out. But it's very interesting to know that Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, which is a port of the Wii U version that combines the Legends version into it from 3DS and then adds the Breath of the Wild costumes, actually outperformed expectations. I did not expect this, and this is one of the first times we've actually heard about a Wii U kind of port coming to the platform and porting up supposedly big numbers, or at least bigger than they expected. Maybe they expected it to not sell anything, and so just selling something is better than nothing. Chances are they expected something modest, 100,000 units maybe total, and it's probably well exceeded that. And I guess well-deserved. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition is probably like one of the best, if not the best Warrior games in a long time. And I'm saying this coming off of playing Fire Emblem Warriors, the new Warriors game that was on Switch, because Fire Emblem Warriors does a lot of things I wish were done in Hyrule Warriors, but overall, Hyrule Warriors is the better game with the better story and the better use of the characters, in my opinion. And this isn't just because I'm a big Zelda guy versus being a big Fire Emblem guy. I think a lot of even Fire Emblem fans that play Fire Emblem Warriors and Hyrule Warriors can admit, Hyrule Warriors does just some things a little bit better. But you know what? Both are excellent games, and I actually am curious of what the sales figures are for Fire Emblem Warriors, because I don't ever know if we heard. We should have heard a long time ago, so maybe it didn't sell that well. But Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition did really well, so good stuff. Anyways, folks, I am Nathaniel Ropajets from Nintendo Prime, and if you like this video, you know what to do. Smash that like button. If you dislike the video, well, I guess hit that dislike button. Subscribe for more content. Hit that bell icon so you get notified of every new video and live stream, and I will catch all of you guys in the next one.
Yes.